I am Steph Garvin, and I will be the worship associate this morning. We're glad you are here, congregant or visitor. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, however you identify, you are welcome in our faith community. If you're visiting here in the sanctuary, welcome. If you're visiting online, we invite you to introduce yourself and tell us from where you're watching. We are glad you are here. We are grateful for the presence of our music director, Les Downs, and our AV Tech coordinator, Jason Smith. Now let us prepare for worship with today's centering music.
Good morning. I'm Sequoia Rich. I've been a member at this church for about a year now. As we light the chalice, enjoy this quote. Fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past, consume our fears about the future. May this flame bring us into this present moment. May it light for us a path of joy and a path of peace. So now let us rise in body or spirit to sing hymn 188. So our wisdom story for today is called The Three Questions. There once was a boy named Nikolai who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. I want to be a good person, he told his friends, but I don't always know the best way to do that. Nikolai's friends understood and they wanted to help him. If only I could find the answers to my three questions, Nikolai continued. Then I would always know what to do. These are his three questions. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? What is the right thing to do? Nikolai's friends considered his first question. Then Sonia the heron spoke. To know the best time to do things, one must plan in advance, she said. Gogol the monkey, who had been rooting through some leaves to find something good to eat, said, You will know when to do things if you watch and pay close attention. Then Pushkin the dog, who was just dozing off, rolled over and said, You can't pay attention to everything yourself. You need a pack to keep watch and help you decide when to do things. For example, a coconut is about to fall on your head. Oh no. Nikolai thought for a moment. Then he asked his second question. Who is the most important one? Sonia said, Those who are closest to heaven, as she circled up high into the sky. The monkey said, Those who know how to heal the sick, as he stroked his bruised noggin. The dog said, Those who make the rules, growled Pushkin. Nikolai thought some more. Then he asked the third question, What is the right thing to do? Sonia the heron said, Flying. The monkey said, Having fun all the time. Pushkin barked, Fighting. Brr. Then the boy thought for a long while. He loved his friends. He knew they were all trying their best to help him answer his questions, but their answers didn't seem quite right. Then an idea came to him. I know, he thought. I will ask Leo the turtle. He has lived a long, long time. Surely he will know the answers I'm looking for. So Nikolai hiked high up in the mountains where the old turtle lived all alone. When Nikolai arrived, he found Leo digging a garden. The turtle was old, and digging was hard for him. I have 3 questions, and I came to ask your help, Nikolai said. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? What is the right thing to do? Leo listened carefully, but he only smiled, and then he went on with his digging. You must be tired, Nikolai said at last. Let me help you. The turtle gave him his shovel and thanked him. And because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nikolai kept on digging until all the rows in the garden were finished. But just as he finished, the wind blew wildly, and rain burst from darkened clouds. As they moved toward the cottage for shelter, Nikolai suddenly heard a cry for help. Help! Help! He ran down the path, and he found a panda whose leg had been injured by a fallen tree. Carefully, Nikolai picked her up and carried her into Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with a stick of bamboo. The storm raged on, banging at the doors and windows. The panda woke up. Where am I? She said. And where is my child? Oh, no! So the boy ran out of the cottage and down the path. The roar of the storm was deafening. Pushing against the howling wind and drenching rain, he ran further into the forest. There he found the panda's child, cold and shivering on the ground. The little panda was wet and scared, but thankfully alive. Nikolai carried her inside and made her warm and dry, and then he laid her in her mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. The next morning, the sun was warm, the birds sang, and all was well with the world. The panda's leg was healing nicely, and she thanked Nikolai for saving her and her baby from the storm. At that moment, Sonia, Gogol, and Pushkin arrived to make sure everything was all right. Nikolai felt great peace within himself. He had wonderful friends, and he had saved the panda and her child. But he also felt disappointed. He still had not found the answers to his 3 questions, so he asked Leo one more time. The old turtle looked at the boy. But your questions have been answered, he said. They have? Asked the boy. Yesterday, if you had not stayed to help me dig my garden, you wouldn't have heard the panda's cries for help. Therefore, the most important time was the time you spent digging in the garden. The most important one at that moment was me, and the most important thing to do was to help me with my garden. Later, when you found the injured panda, the most important time was the time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important ones were the panda and her baby, and the most important thing to do was to take care of them and make them safe. Remember then that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with, and the most important thing to do good for is the one who is standing at your side. For these, my dear boy, are the answers to what is most important in the world. So now, children and youth, we invite you to go to religious exploration. You will be sung out of the sanctuary and then meet the group leaders in the foyer or Sandberg Hall and go to classes together. Look for the adults holding a sign with your grade to find your group. Parents, if you're new or visiting today, please escort your children to their classes to meet the group leaders and find out where to pick up your child after worship. So now let us rise in body or spirit to sing the song As You Go. As you go, the joy surrounds you. As you go, go in peace. As no love is with you always. As you go, as you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love with you always. As you go, as you go. And so now let's take a moment to do some centering. In the center of our service and in the center of our lives, let us pause to honor the silences of the world. Let us open our hearts to the silent prayer for the healing of pain, that place of quiet, and the soft, gentle coming of love. Let us share a moment of silence. So now is the time for acknowledging our joys or sorrows with a candle lighting ritual. If you're in the sanctuary, please feel free to come forward to light a candle. If you are online, please write in the chat box any joys or sorrows that you would like to share with the congregation. If you have shared a joy, know that we rejoice with you. If you have shared a sorrow, know that you are held in love and care by this community.
Thank you, Les. That was beautiful. What are the symbols of your life? I tasked myself in preparation for today to come up with 3 symbols of my life. And now I'm going to return the favor and ask each of you to think about what are the symbols of your life. And I'll give you just a moment to think about that. And then I'll share with you mine. So does everybody have a symbol in their mind of what represents your life? The 3 symbols of my life are in no uncertain order, although I have to be a little careful here because my wife is sitting directly in front of me in the red dress there. And one of the symbols of my life is the ring I have on my finger. Another symbol of my life is a pencil. And a final symbol of my life is the meditation cushion that represents all the meditation that I do. What is a symbol? The wedding ring that I have on my finger and have had on my finger for nearly 30 years, our 30th anniversary is August 5th, for those of you who are curious. The ring is just a ring. It's an object or a symbol, something that does mean a lot to me, but it's not just because of the value of the ring or the symbolism of it, but because of all that is wrapped up in those 30 years that my wife and I have been together. There have been moments of great joy. There have also been moments, I'm sure. You'll notice that I'm kind of shy on hair. There have been moments when I felt like pulling the hair out of my head, and I'm sure somehow Martha's retained all of her hair, but it's not because I'm a saint by any means. There's also the symbol of the pencil. I do a lot of writing, roughly at least 750 words a day, and it isn't just the pencil that contains what writing represents for me. Writing, in the years that I've been doing it intensely, which is about the last 10 years, I've written close to 3 million words, if not more. And it is a way that I've explored myself, explored who I am in a relationship, explored what's important to me, explored what's troubling me. The pencil and the keyboard have been ways that I have looked through the portal of my self-expression in order to discover what is really, truly meaningful to me, and also what things I want to let go of. The third symbol, the meditation cushion, when I looked at my Insight Timer app this morning, which is one of the apps that I use in my meditation, I noticed that there were hundreds of hours that I have spent in meditation using that app. And again, it's not the time that contains everything. It is what happens in those moments of meditation where I get centered on, again, what is truly important to me. What am I trying to elevate in my life? What am I trying to let go of? What things do I want to keep? What things do I want to discard? And it is through the symbols of our life, whether those be a ring, a pencil, a meditation cushion, or something else, it is through that emblem that we can discover and have something that represents all the time that we spend in our life. It is a means by which we can explore and express and share with one another. So my invitation to you today is to imbue some of your life into the symbols of your life so that they become richer, more valuable, and more precious to you and to those with whom you share it. And now I'll turn the time over to Sequoia.
Thank you, Steph. So Steph and I co-facilitate the Buddhist Sangha. We meet the second Tuesday and Thursday of every month here in this building. Kathy, the minister, invited us to lead the service today to try to drum up some support for the Buddhist Sangha. Normally we meet and we talk about the philosophy of Buddhism for a little bit, and we have a 20-minute meditation. So if any of you are interested, you're welcome to come. I was going to talk today about loving kindness and how Buddhism has affected my life in a positive way. My main two paths of spirituality are Buddhism and shamanism. And I discovered the UU Church about 15 years ago. It's been a really wonderful community for me where I can explore my passion for shamanism and my love for meditating in Buddhism. And I love how the UU Church is welcoming and allows us to explore our own spirituality, what resonates for us, what feeds us, what nurtures us. It's really lovely to be a part of a community that's really welcoming and inclusive and accepting. I really appreciate that. So, one of the things I love about Buddhism is its focus on meditation. It helps bring me back into the present moment. There's a quote by Lao Tzu: "If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the moment." So I'm going to read that quote again. If you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you're feeling anxious, you're living in the future. If you are feeling at peace, you are living in the moment. And to be honest, and a little vulnerable with you guys, I've struggled with depression most of my life, and my therapist, when I was living back in Atlanta, was what initially brought me to Buddhism. In 1999, she said that she was studying with a teacher, and she invited me to come sit with him one day. And she talked about how meditating can free up some space in your mind and allow you to notice your thoughts. And so in the beginning, I would go once a week and sit with her in meditation with her teacher. And to be honest, in the beginning, I was doing it to get brownie points from my therapist. I wasn't really sure about all of that. Sitting in silence, and it was uncomfortable, and my muscles were tense, and my mind was just racing. Like, I gotta do this right. But occasionally I would get these little glimmers of peace. And so I stuck with it. I kept going week after week. I kept going, and I started going twice a week, and I started feeling more moments of peace. And one of the days they talked about how you can notice your thoughts, and if you have a thought that you don't, like the whole point of meditation is to sit and to not think, but how do we do that, right? Like that's really hard. And so they were talking about this method where if you notice a thought, then you imagine like a hot air balloon, and you put the thought in the hot air balloon, and you just watch it float up. And I loved that visualization because it wasn't like, you're bad, you're having thoughts, you know? And I wasn't judging the thought. I was just letting it float away gently. And that was kind of a turning point for me, where I started thinking, oh, maybe there is something to this meditation thing. And then I think it was in late 1999, the Dalai Lama came to Atlanta, and I got to see him. And it was in an arena with 5,000 people, so it was really crowded. And I was still struggling with depression. Like, you know, I would have these thoughts of like not really liking myself or thinking that people didn't like me. But the meditation was helping. So I went to see the Dalai Lama, and I walked into the arena, which is filled with thousands of people. And he's way at the far distance. He's like this big. And I feel this like tidal wave of love coming from him. I've never felt anything like it. I mean, I saw the Pope in Italy. I didn't feel that from the Pope. But I just felt this immense wave of love from the Dalai Lama. And at that point in my life, I didn't really feel worthy of that amount of love. I recognized it. I was like, this is an advanced being. But I kind of ran away, to be honest. I felt this huge amount of love, and I thought, oh, I'm not worthy of this. And I left. I left the building. And then I went and I talked to my therapist about it, and she was like, yes, exactly. That's what we've been working on this past 6 months is you learning to love yourself, you learning to feel worthy of love. And so that's kind of when I really got hooked on Buddhism, and I really saw like, oh, there's something really juicy here. And so now, you know, it's 23 years later, and I wouldn't call myself an expert on Buddhism. I kind of have a buffet style approach. You know, I pick and take what I like and let go of what doesn't serve me. And recently, this past winter, I went through another kind of dark time. I stopped meditating every day. I was only meditating 2 or 3 times a week. I was isolating and pulling away from my friends. I had just graduated from therapy, and but maybe I shouldn't have stopped therapy so soon, because my mind was doing that thing again where it was telling me that I wasn't worthy of love. So I knew I needed a change. I knew I needed a major shift in perspective. So a friend told me about a vision quest that was happening in early summer. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It's a tradition that happens in a lot of cultures around the world. Here in the United States, Native Americans do it. But it's where people go into the wilderness to fast and to pray. And so this vision quest that I felt called to go on was done here in Western North Carolina. It was with a group of people, and it would be over 11 days. And we would spend the first 4 days in community, and then like camping out and getting to know each other. And then we would separate and go onto a solo and camp out. And you don't eat for 4 days. You're allowed to have as much water as you want. But the intention is to go up on the mountain and to pray and to be alone with whatever name you have for God and to pray. And that, in the middle of my winter of depression, that idea really resonated with me. I thought, I really want to be with the silence, and find that peace within me again. So I signed up for the Vision Quest, and I went on it. I just got back 2 weeks ago, honestly. And to be honest, I thought the hardest part would be not eating. I really was like, how am I going to not eat for 4 days? Oh my God. But the hardest part was the silence. Like, I wasn't with anybody. I didn't have my phone. I didn't have the internet. I didn't have a book. I didn't have anything to entertain me. It was just me and myself and my thoughts up on the mountain. And so I did a lot of walking and kind of talking to the trees and the flowers. And I did a lot of sitting and looking out at the huge expanse around me. I was at the top of a mountain. In the morning, the fog would settle in the valleys, and the tops of the mountains looked like islands. It was really beautiful. But yeah, it was hard to not have anything to entertain me. And so what happened was my inner critic got really loud and started kind of raging at me and talking about, well, this is stupid. Why did you do this? Why did you sign up for this? What are you doing? And I have a practice from Buddhism called loving kindness meditation. Some of you have heard about it. And so when the inner critic would get really loud, I would do this loving kindness meditation. And that would quiet the voices for a little while. And then sometimes I would distract myself by going for a walk or laying on the ground and looking up at the clouds as they pass by. But then the inner critic would come back and start raging at me again. So I just really alternated the two. It was like doing this loving kindness meditation, listening to the voices in my head. So I'm up there for 4 days, right? So on the third day, I had a breakthrough. I realized, and people have told me this before, but I finally realized, and I really got it, I don't have to listen to my internal negative talk. It's not true. There's a part of me that is trying to protect myself, and maybe it's lying to me, or maybe these are old messages that I got from family members. But this internal negative talk is just not true. And so when those voices start, I'm just going to turn down the volume. I'm just going to say, okay, you can have your little temper tantrum, but I'm going to turn down the volume. And so whenever those voices would start, I would focus on the loving kindness meditation. And I'm sure some of you have heard this before. My favorite teacher is Sharon Salzberg. And one of the the mantras that she says with loving kindness meditations are, may I be safe, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be peaceful, may I live with ease, may I find deep joy. So this practice of loving kindness, it's about cultivating love as a strength, as a muscle, as a tool that challenges our tendency to see people, including ourselves, as disconnected and isolated from one another. So back to the Vision Quest, I spent part of day 3 and all of day 4 directing loving kindness to my mind, to my body, to my heart. And at the end of day 4, I had a major epiphany. I felt a huge tidal wave of love for my precious body. I'm a mom, so I have taken care of my child, and I took such loving, tender care of his body. But I've never done that for myself. I just do it by rote. I do it automatically. And I just had this tidal wave of love where it's like, what if you loved your body as much as you loved your son's body? What if you took as good care of it as you took care of your son? That would be a whole different experience. And I remembered that moment with the Dalai Lama where I felt him shining love at the whole audience. And I went back in time and I was like, okay, I accept that. I accept that love from him. I accept love for my body. And it really changed me. It changed me at a cellular level. I've been back 2 weeks now, and I feel more grounded in my body, and I feel more at peace. And of course, sometimes I still have those thoughts like, oh, you're stupid. And then I'm like, no, honey, you're not stupid. It's okay. You just made a mistake, you know? And so I'm starting to learn how to talk kinder to myself. And so these shifts are available to you too, if anybody is interested in learning the loving kindness meditation. We would love to have you come to the Buddhist Sangha, our Buddhist community that meets on Tuesdays, the second Tuesday and the fourth Tuesday of every month. And so instead of just talking about loving kindness, I wanted to give y'all an opportunity to experience it. So we're going to take the last 5 minutes of this sermon to have an experience. So I was going to guide you through a guided meditation, and you're welcome to close your eyes or find an object on the floor to look at. And so I invite you to experience this with us. So let's take 3 deep breaths together. So breathing in and out, in and out, in and out. Good. And now finding your own rhythm of breath, deepening, feeling your body pressing against the chair, feeling your breath deepening. Now I encourage you to think of someone that you deeply, deeply love, someone that you cherish. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a teacher, maybe it's your child or a grandparent. Imagine this person that you love so much, this person that you trust, standing in front of you. And we're going to say these words to them. With all of our love, we're going to say these words to them. So you don't have to say them out loud. We're just saying them in our mind's eye to this person that we love. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. May you live with ease. May you find deep joy. And now thank this person for participating with you. And now I want you to imagine yourself, seeing yourself in a mirror. Maybe it's a mirror in your house. Maybe you're sitting at a lake and you can see your reflection in front of you. So see yourself in front of you, and I want you to say these words to yourself. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I feel peaceful. May I live with ease. May I find deep joy. And now take 3 more deep breaths and seal that loving kindness into your heart. Let it be a calming balm that fills up your body with love. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And I'm going to close with a poem. What if we tried to breathe together? Pull in, pull deep, release together. What would be born from a unified fulfillment of the bodily self and its undeniable need? What if we all try to breathe together? A shared breath is a moment, refreshment, and a reminder of our more than oneness. And if we continue, if we slow with each other, a murmuration of lungs becomes one organ singing. And if we continue, learn each other's rhythms over time, rising and falling like waves, we become a perfect thing, a conspiracy dancing, a dance of need and met need, request and offering, feeding each other. What if we decided to breathe together? Thank you. So now let us rise in body or spirit to sing hymn 1031, and it's called Filled with Loving Kindness. So now is the time where we welcome any visitors. So if you're a visitor, you're welcome to stand and introduce yourselves. Please say your name and where you're from.
That's cool. Hello, beautiful humans. Hi. My name is Shekinah. It's Hebrew. It means the glory of God, actually. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I visited the UU Church there, and my family just moved to Asheville, so I'm really excited to be here. Thank you, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name's Nicole. I am in Asheville on a long weekend vacation. I am from near Philadelphia. I go to Thomas Paine Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Collegeville, Pennsylvania. That's nice to be here.
Welcome.
I kind of already got introduced, but my name is Martha Garvin. I'm Steph's wife and here to enjoy this service today.
Welcome.
Hello, my name is Paul. This is my husband Glenn, and we moved to the area 6 months ago from Philadelphia.
Welcome.
I'm not a visitor, but I want to encourage visitors to stop by the welcome table in Sandberg Hall Coffee Hour. It's right inside the entrance.
One of the things I love about UU churches is how welcoming we are. It's hard to go to a new church, and my first UU church was here, and everybody was so welcoming to me. So I encourage y'all to go up and introduce yourselves to the visitors. So our announcements run as slides at the beginning of the service. If you miss them, just refer to Thursday's weekly e-news, as everything is described there. If you don't receive the e-news, ask an usher to show you how to sign up. So this Sunday, our community plate recipient is the Blue Note Junction. You can donate by check, but be sure today and write community plate in the memo line. You can also donate online. Today's offering will now be collected and gratefully received. If this is your first time here, please let the collection plate pass you by. This service is our gift to you, and your presence is your gift to us. Thank you, Les. That was beautiful. Thank you for your donations, for the gifts of your time, presence, talents, and treasure. We are grateful. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing our closing song, followed by the postlude, followed by a time of fellowship in Sandburg Hall. If you need to leave during the postlude, please do so quietly so others can enjoy the music. Our closing song is Long Time Son.